Brad, you couldn't get your hands on the footy. It was keepings off, and they dominated possession and the scoreboard.
Yeah, sometimes the game's a little bit simpler than we make it. You know, if you talk about all the great things that players can do, and but the bottom line is if you can't get your hands on the ball, well, that's irrelevant. And the next extension of that is if you can't defend well enough to get it back, you can't get the game on your terms. And I didn't feel, it was a miracle we got the game back pretty much at level pegging there in the second quarter, because we were just being outplayed and out-hunted. So it's bitterly disappointing from that perspective.
What sort of message does this send to your group, do you think, Brad?
Well, that the opposition's hungrier than you and they're more up for the contest, and they just smash you around the ball. I can't think of a time ever in my time that we've been beaten by almost 50 in contested possession, and that's just so unlike the group we've got. So that's that came as a complete shock to me. I never would have predicted that'd be our challenge, and we've got a short amount of time to rectify it.
Been a lot of positive commentary about your team and your team's prospects this year. Do you think that influenced the performance at all?
But it hasn't come from us. Certainly hasn't come from me. So we've been really focused on what we've had to do, but I mean, potentially all the things that we've been focused on outside of winning the contest were irrelevant tonight because we couldn't win it.
Are you surprised how tonight unfolded?
Yeah, I am, because I genuinely thought we were up for the contest, but we definitely weren't. So in terms of anything on top of that, the layers that you put on top of that, they're just not pertinent tonight, because the number. Well, there are two things for me. If you can't win the ball in a contest, you're going to have a hard day. And if you can't win the ball in a contest and you can't defend well enough to get it back, you're just never going to be able to force your way into the game. And that was the way it unfolded today. Essendon won the ball really well in the contest. They maintained possession. We weren't good enough to get it back.
You haven't had a win in round one in your time at the club. How much does it set you back?
4 points.
But it's a statement night though, round one, isn't it? Sort of
No, it's not. I mean, it can be. Like we'll see how the next few weeks unfold. But I mean, it's 4 points. So, look, don't get me wrong. I think 4 points is massive. So, we've been chasing our tails the last few years, and here we are again. So, we've got to make sure we turn around really quickly in 9 days' time back here.
Are you confident you can turn it around quickly?
Well, as I said, I think in 4 or 5 years, I can't recall us being that badly beaten in the contest. So I don't think it's personnel. But the personnel clearly didn't come ready to compete well enough today, and we'll have a look at it. But structurally, there wasn't too much wrong.
Is it possible it's just one of those weird things that happens in round one when all you've done is practice at a high level of intensity, but playing a team in a game is actually different again?
I'm not really sure, Greg. I think I hope that's right, but I certainly won't be using that as a cop-out. I mean, we'll be analysing it really closely and working out why we couldn't win the ball in a contest, and we'll be working out and holding the players really, really accountable to that. Because the bottom line for us now, if you can't win the ball and you can't defend well enough to get it back, I don't care what you can do with the ball in your hands, you won't play for us. And it's as simple as that, because tonight's performance was as disappointing as a performance as I can recall. And we've had the players well prepared. We've prepared well through the pre-season. We've got a lot of guys, a few unavailable, but the 22 we put out could get the job done tonight, we felt, and they didn't perform. So we'll be holding them really strongly accountable.
Watson got away from you early. Was that synonymous with maybe the lack of pressure and intensity in the first quarter? I mean, you had a lot of touches in the first half.
Watson, sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought once he got away early, I thought Zeeble got back in the contest on him pretty well, but just as the game went on, he really got away from us, and the matchups we had and the strategy we had clearly didn't work. So, we were changing things on a pretty regular basis to try and chase our tail. But again, I mean, it's very, very difficult to change things. Structurally, it was okay. We just couldn't win the ball, and when we tried to to increase the numbers around the ball, that meant it was really hard for us to score when we did win it. But even when we put more numbers around the ball, we still couldn't get our hands on it.
Brad, how is Todd Goldstein? What would you say about his performance?
It's really tough to judge. I mean, he got a. It's always a bit of a risk, you know, going in with one ruckman. Essendon did the same, you know, and he got injured really early. I thought he battled on manfully. He's a left-handed ruckman. He said his left shoulder, so it makes it tough for him. And he still won the hit-outs overall, but we got slaughtered in the centre bounces. I think 17-9, but we got smashed in clearances by 22. I mean, we were one of the best clearance sides in the competition last year. But that's not down to Goldstein. I thought we'll assess his injury and see what's wrong.
Do you think he'll miss weeks though? It looks pretty bad.
Well, the fact that he played on, I mean, there was concerns about his rotator cuff, but we'll have to get that scanned. I think it's very difficult to tell. But I didn't. You know, if the doctor said he's out, he's out. But the doc said no, I think he's right to go, and I wanted confirmation from Goldie himself that he was right to go, and he felt he was. So the docs cleared him, and Goldie felt he was right. So hopefully that means it's not too bad. But if it is, Dan Curry's just absolutely dying for his opportunity. And if he gets his opportunity, I expect him to take it.
Fair to say, Brad, at training this week will be fair and this is not contested play?
No doubt, no doubt. And the ability to get it back when we haven't got it.
Will you encourage some pretty fierce sort of stuff, perhaps not worry so much about injuries?
I never worry about that. If you watch us train, Nick, which I know you do, our training's pretty full on. And in fact, a couple of players who have come from other clubs are really surprised about how hard they go at training. And if we cop a few contact type injuries at training, well, you've got to live with that because we've got to be better in the contest. And as I said, I don't want to refer back to last year because you had a lot of things didn't go right for us last year, but the ability to win the ball in a contest and clear the ball from stoppages was fantastic. And yet we got absolutely smashed in that part of the game tonight, so we'll readdress it.
How did you assess Nick D'Alessandra's first game for you?
Look, I thought he battled on, but I mean, he was part of a midfield that was badly beaten.
Daniel Wells, a bit of a whipping boy at times. You'd like a bit more from him?
Yeah, I thought he looked dangerous early. I thought Hocking did a good job. So I wouldn't want to take anything away from Hocking's performance. I thought he worked hard. But the midfield is a unit, and if you're getting horribly beaten in the contest, it's hard for individual players to dominate. And you know, for us, their individuals badly beat ours. It's as simple as that.
You back the same guys in for next game?
I can't guarantee that. I'll have a really close look at it. As I said, certainly hold myself accountable first, but then hold individuals within the team accountable, and we'll make our decisions based on that.
Did you try and tag Joe Watson at any stage?
Yeah, we did, but you know, and then he rolled forward, and we had a match up for him there. We tried to double team him at one stage. He just kept getting his hands on it. So as I said, I felt like we were chasing our tail, making changes to try and make up the difference. I mean, if there is a positive to come out of tonight for us, it's that we were horrific. And yet I felt we were in the game pretty much the whole night, right up until probably halfway through the last quarter. We were coaching to win the game. How do we get back to win this game? But, you know, when you look at the tail of the tape at the end of it, really, we never looked like it.
Thanks.